Welcome to the Mission-Led Mama podcast, where motherhood becomes a spiritual initiation and your mission is the medicine the world's been waiting for. I'm your host, Natalie Kataya, devoted mama, light language queen, and multi-seven-figure entrepreneur, here to guide you through the wild, the beautiful dance of raising babies while birthing empires. In this space, there's nothing off the table. The tears, the triumphs, the quantum leaps, and the late nights of wondering who you're becoming. As we dive deep into the divine feminine as business, as sacred service, spiritual expansion, conscious partnership, and leading with love. This isn't just a podcast. It's a remembrance, a recalibration, a homecoming for women who knew they came here to change the world and tuck their babies into bed. Welcome home, mission-led mama. Hello, mummies, and welcome to another podcast with moi. I'm so excited that you're here. Today's episode is going to be all about the crumbling. I'm going to call it the crumbling because when I went from maiden to mother, I had no idea the crumbling effect that my soul would feel and that my human would feel all at the same time. So I closed out hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of payment plans. I refunded $50,000 worth of paid in full clients back to them. And I did this because I no longer could run the business that I thought was in alignment when I was the maiden, and then becoming the mother, it wasn't in alignment. So mummies, if you've experienced going from maiden to mother or even mother to mother, like wherever it has been in your journey and you're like, fuck, I want to burn my business down, this podcast is going to be about. I burnt my business down to the ground and I started again and I've rebuilt new foundations. So let's just go back to the start. For those of you who are new here, hello. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you know my journey. I started off 4 years ago with $20 psychic readings. I then have grown I don't even know what the word is, I don't know what the fucking word is. I have grown so fucking much in the past 4 years. It has blown my own fucking mind. Like so many times I've been like, I cannot believe I'm in this timeline. Holy fuck, how did I get here? Holy cunt, this is wild that I'm now here. And so when I look back to the version of me that was doing $20 psychic readings, I had a $500 car. I was a hardcore vegan activist. I was in the weeds of channeling every single day. And when I say that, I mean like I was just so spiritually bypassing still, and I didn't feel worthy of charging, and I didn't feel worthy of growing a business. And there was all these things, all these layers to then being this entrepreneur who runs 2 companies, multi-million dollars, created the lifestyle that I wanted to, blah, 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 right? So I know you're probably thinking, but how did you go from there to there? Like I will tell you this in another podcast when we go through identity deaths and shifting timelines, because that's a whole other podcast in itself. However, what I really want to go through is I had then built this business. I did my first million in my second year. My third year, I did a multi-millions. Within 4 months, I did my second million. So first million took me a year. Second million took me 4 months. And at the end of last year, I was like, I'm fucking smashing it. Like, I'm so fucking elite. I felt so fucking invincible. I was like, look at me. I'm fucking King Kong. And then growing into being pregnant with my beautiful son, I thought that I would be able to have a baby and still run the business at the capacity that I was once running at. And so I put some different things in place. So like when I was pregnant, I was heavily sick. I did talk about that in my first podcast. I was so sick that I had to put things in place. So I had an EA at the time. She was incredible. I had an amazing VA over in the Philippines, Flo. I love you, my babe. She's still with us. And Flo isn't a VA, guys. Flo's basically my right-hand woman, and she knows everything and anything in the business. She forecasts. She's so fucking incredible. And I had an amazing support team when I was pregnant and I was super sick, so I could actually take as much time as I needed to and still show up to calls and still get on sales calls. And then I implemented a sales team and like all these things so that I could take myself out of the business. And though there was still a capacity that I was holding, right? And anyway, I give birth. So a few months before I give birth to Godwin, I was like, all right, I need to almost take myself out of the business even another step. So I got in 2 more head coaches, and I was like, I'm going to create an amazing system where I can just onboard clients. Like we have, ads filtering through from ads to our sales team, from the sales team into an onboarding call with a head coach, and like everything's automated. So it's just so seamless, and we can get to 100K weeks was our goal with this one group container that I had. And I thought that I'd be able to hold that. And that was like the goal. That was what we were aiming for. I'd recreated a whole entire business portal that's fucking incredible. I built the most amazing business portal in the whole entire world. For those of you who want to get to 10K, like, this is so fucking elite. This is so world class. Everything I wish I knew at the very start of my journey, I've built for everyone. And I've got a hardcover workbook. Anyway, I don't need to sell it to you. It's fucking amazing. So fast forward, I then have Godwin. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to run the business like this. I'm going to create this podcast like this. And the podcast is going to be called Your Next Level. And I create all the branding for it. And like, I'm all geared up, ready to go. I have a marketing company on the side that I'm working on. We're about to buy a retreat center. Like, all this is happening whilst I've just given birth. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to be the most elite entrepreneur. And, I then give birth to Godwin, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck matters? Who the fuck? Like, why the fuck do I care about business? Like, what do you mean? So I went through the biggest fucking identity death of my life. I remember it was like maybe postpartum, 5 days in, like, mamas, you remember what it's like when your milk comes in. It's so hectic. And I'm like sitting on the toilet howling, and I'm just like, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to hold all these people when I can't even hold myself right now, let alone hold a baby that needs me? And like, I'm going through this whole thing of like, oh my God, this baby needs me. Like, I have to feed this baby all the time. I have to give my life to this baby, and I can't even give to I just can't even give to me anymore. So it was like, what I was feeling was like all these different hierarchies, all these different values started to shift. And the hardest thing for me was like, I've put my business up as number 1 for such a long time. Now my business is like number 4. Really what comes first is Godwin. Then what comes second is me. Then what comes third is my family unit. Then fourth is business. And, it's been one of those really challenging things for me to navigate. Actually, my friendships has been a really big thing for me to navigate. I've been someone that's had best friends my whole life. And, I've had a few friends be like, we're begging to see you, but we can't see you. And I'm like, I love you guys, but you guys are at the very bottom of the list right now, because I just don't even have the capacity for friendship anymore. And that has been so sad. I've had to mourn that so many times. Like, Godwin's now 6 months old, and I feel like every month I re-mourn my friendships, because it's like, I just don't have that capacity, because I actually really do want to build an empire in a different way now, because we've only got 2 hours or 3 hours of legit working a day, versus I used to have all the time in the world. And like, I never used to work on a Sunday, and right now it's a Sunday. I'm doing a podcast on a Sunday. I would never fucking have ever done that. Like, even when I was into my hustle phase, like, there was no way I was working on a Sunday. I was like, Sundays are for me. And so coming back to, I'm howling on the toilet. It is so cold. I remember like I was shaking. I mean, it was all the things, right? I've just given birth. I'm in the healing phase, but I'm shaking on the toilet, just sobbing, howling. And I'm just like, what the fuck? How do I do this? And so I went through weeks and weeks and weeks of up and downs of, who am I? How can I serve my clients? How can I even show up? And I'm really grateful that I had 2 months off in Babyland, where I had head coaches take over all my business, even the WhatsApp chats. I brought in a manager who was incredible at putting in systems and delegating and running the ship. And I really threw her into the deep end, and she fucking swam really well. So Simone, if you're listening to this, I love you. And it was just like the team unit that I had built worked like a family when I was stepping out of the business in Babyland, which was just so fucking, like, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I'm so grateful that I've chosen the right people that are like family in my business. So then fast forward, I'm now with Godwin every day and with Warren every day, and my heart feels so filled with love, and I realized that I'm in the land of plenty. And I was so grateful for myself for choosing the right people that were like family in my business, so that when I did step out, I was like, oh, it's a breath of fresh air knowing that they can all handle everything. And now I'm in this predicament of like, do I want to run my business? This was what made me so fulfilled in life. And I've always loved serving and loved creating impact. And holy fuck, I loved what I did. But now I have this beautiful human that trumps anything I've ever felt in my life. You know, like you mamas know, when you look into your baby's eyes and they need you, it trumps anything I've ever felt. Any love I've ever felt in my life, times 1,000,000 trillion %, right? I can't even fathom the words. And so when I think about my business now and I've got Godwin on my boob, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then, you know, I sat in this void for days and weeks until Warren was like, let's go on a holiday. Let's go to Uluru. Like, I would love you to channel and come back home to yourself and figure out what you really want to do. And I remember my manager coming over and she's like, hey, babe, a lot of people have left your containers because you're not the person in it anymore. And I was like, I felt so upset, and like a knife went through my chest because I was like, fuck, I worked so hard to build this company and to put these people in place. But of course people want me. So I was like, all right. When she said that in that exact moment, I felt so much failure. I felt so much sadness. I felt so much grief. And then I realized that it also gives me the permission to shut these containers down. And like, I could have 100% kept them open and kept all the head coaches and just kept everything running the same way. I had 13 team members and we were making a fuck ton of money, guys. And, you know, my expenses were also really, really high. And there was just so much pressure. There was just so much pressure and so much I had to do to keep the business at this level. And then I just said to Warren, I want to close everything down. And he looked at me and said, no fucking way. And I was like, yeah, babe. He's like, our rent's almost $4,500 a week, babe. Like, the company's paying for that at the moment. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I know we've got money. And he's like, nope. And I was like, well, I've been running the company for a while and I don't want to anymore. I'm going to do it differently. So he was like, right, you need to find yourself. We're going to Uluru. So we bought a fucking caravan. We make all these different mods to the Ram, and also, guys, this had been a dream of mine, was to get a Ram and to get a caravan and travel. And so same with Warren. And because, like, for those of you who don't know, about 3 years ago I traveled in a car around Australia with my ex-boyfriend in the rooftop tent, and me and Warren were actually friends at this point, and he then traveled Australia in his troopy. So we both have traveled Australia in our cars, and obviously a caravan is a way more upgraded version, so we both wanted to do that. We really want to do that with our kids. That was like something that we both spoke about when we first got together. And so now we buy the caravan, we go to Uluru, and on the way to Uluru, I start listening to 10X is better than 2X. If you haven't heard this book, guys, it's fucking genius. Go and read it. It's incredible. And I then started to realize that actually I've got such an incredible system. I've got such an incredible, you know, social media presence. I've got so many testimonials. I've got testimonials coming out of my fucking ass, and I'm so embodied in what I teach. I'm like, maybe I get to I just want to close my container down and start again fresh on a new foundation, and have the expectations really clear. Like, no one has voice note access to me unless you're about to pay me $50K cash. No one has voice note access to me, because voice notes are taking me away from being present with my baby. And, you know, there was sometimes I'd wake up to 50 fucking voice notes on my phone, on WhatsApp. That's without my team. You know, I have 13 team members in one company, but I've got 30 in another. And although I have a manager and a 2IC that run that company, it's still, again, like, I'd open my phone, 100 messages. Or, you know, if I put a post out on social media and it went wild, I would have my inbox would be flooded. Then I have all my best friends as well. So at one point I'd open my phone and there'd be fucking 200 messages. And I would honestly get, when I had Godwin, I started to get into this freeze response, where in the past I had never ever experienced that, because I was someone who could just take the action and just do the thing. So when clients would come to me and say, oh, I'm in this freeze response, I'd kind of be like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get how you're in a freeze response when the mission needs you and your business needs you. I couldn't kind of get them, when now I'm like, oh my God, I get it. My baby comes first, and I don't want to, I don't want to get to the messages. And then if I would leave it a couple of days or 3 days or whatever, it would times 10. And I was just like, oh my God, just sinking into the couch with so many messages. Like, how the fuck am I going to reply to all these fucking people? And so I had a PA come over, and I'm like, can you reply on my behalf? Because I just cannot even look at my fucking phone right now. And I was so grateful for, again, having these team members. But if you don't have team members, what do you do? Like, I suppose, I don't know if your business would be at this capacity. But anyway, Warren was like, we're going to fucking Uluru. So we go to Uluru. We listen to 10X is better than 2X. I realized that I've got all these systems and things in place. And I was like, I just need to rechannel. So we go to Uluru. I take 5 days off my phone, 5 days off all electronics, and I start channeling. And I channel these 2 new masterminds that has no voice note access to me. However, it has a community chat where everyone can actually teach and coach each other. And I only want coaches that have done 10K and above to come into this chat, so that they actually, if you've done 10K, you already know A, how to be self-led, B, how to be self-driven and take full ownership for your business, and C, you know how to get results. So I'm not talking to the startups. I'm talking to the people that have already done a little bit of work and that, you know, have already some structure and some systems in place. So I'm like, cool, this feels better. I'm not having to babysit and hold as many hands. I can actually get to the client and be like, hey, babe, this is the piece in the portal that you need to watch. Hey, babe, talk to this person. Or hey, babe, implement this strategy. Or hey, babe, have you thought of this energetics? And like, it'd be an easier business container. And then I realized that I wanted to stop talking about business. And I wanted to because I really wanted to talk about motherhood, but I didn't know how that was going to fit in yet. And so this podcast landing 4 months later from that point is so perfect, because now I see what I'm actually creating, where back then I was kind of like, Spirit, give me the next step. I can't really see it. So I opened this one new mastermind called Interstellar. I opened another mastermind above that called Supernova for the coaches that are doing $30 to $1 million plus. And because, guys, the strategy is so different and all the things, and the way I coach is also different. And when I started closing these pieces down, I felt like such a fucking fraud. And like, I have journeyed the fraud so many times, and I say to my clients, follow the fraud. When you feel like a fraud, follow that journey, because that's actually your next level. And it's like your ego trying to hold you back, right? And I felt like such a fraud, because I was like, how do I show up when I'm closing a business down that doesn't feel in alignment anymore, because I thought I could hold all this and I can't. And then also the mother in me was like, this is for your child. Like, this has nothing to do with the clients. This has nothing to do with anyone else. This is to do with Godwin and becoming a more present mother. Like, you are the mother first. And so I sat in this like anxiety for weeks of like, but I want to be a mission-led mother. I want to show him that he can have a mission and that it can be impactful and he can change the world. But I also want to do it, and this makes me emotional, but I want to do it from a place that serves him first, that he's my highest mission first. And so from that decision of closing everything down and channeling these 2 new offers, it gave me freedom and it gave me choice. The containers look so different now than what they used to, and that also was really hard. Like, it tripped me up, because I thought my worth was in my value of what I give people. And like Unity Consciousness, my old group container, I had 100 people at that at one point, right? And they got WhatsApp support, and they got events, and they got light codes for free, and they got the portal, and they got access to they got access to so many different things, and so many different trainings, and so many different coaches, and they had so much value. Where I was like, fuck, will people still want to pay me if they don't get voice note access to me and they only show up to my calls every second week? And it's so wild now. I've been running into Stella for the last 3 months. This is well and truly the best energetics of a mastermind I've ever created. People are getting results. People, and I laugh. Everyone's always gotten results, but I laugh because it's like this effortless feeling that I walk into of like people like, oh yeah, I just helped this person create their landing page and I just helped this person have this breakthrough, and like everyone is a full community, and so everyone is like family in there. And I've realized like shifting my value, my family is my highest value now. And I didn't know how family would translate from outside my business to inside my business. And when I see the group chat going off and I don't have to be in there, I'm just like the mother archetype that holds the space for them to all have their own breakthroughs inside the container. I realized that they're my family. And I've always said, welcome to my family when you come into my coaching containers. But like, this is such a deeper level of like interstellar, these beautiful humans that have been called into this container. Like, they are my fucking family. They're my highest value. And I used to always coach people and said, make money your highest value, make money your highest value, make money your highest value, because it was my highest value, and that's why I made multi-millions. But I feel like I've now come to this level and this knowingness of I will make money regardless of how I do things in life, because I'm just so embodied at making money. And family now gets to be my highest value, and now shifting my clients into being my family. It's just so beautiful. And like, I had one of my clients come over on Friday, and as she walked in the door, we just like held each other. She's like, how are you, babe? I'm like, I'm great. And she just sat down and we literally just talked like we're family members. And I'm like, I love this so much. Another one of my beautiful clients just had a car accident. I messaged him and I read him this book that I've been reading, and he was like, oh my God, I'm just crying. And I'm like, babe, I'm your family. Like, I've got you energetically. And it's like, because I now chose this new business container with being the mother archetype and then not being the things that in business that I don't like. So I hated WhatsApp, guys. I hated doing voice notes. I now don't do any of that. So I don't have this like, oh, I don't want to do that in my business. Everything that I do and have in my business right now feels like flow, feels like joy, feels like love. And yes, there are going to be some days where I'm like, oh, working today. But I'm like, because there's only blocks where I can work now, which mamas you get, like, fuck, you know, when Godwin's down for a nap, I'm like, all right, people, I've got an hour. Do something. Be productive. Or I'm sleeping. Fuck everything, right? It's like choosing that hour wisely. Like, do I work this minute? Do I sleep this minute? Do I scratch my ass and just sit on the toilet? Like, what piece do I do, right? So I'm like figuring out what just works well and what feels good. So the crumbling of my business actually led me to this huge breakthrough of creating a business in this season that feels so fucking fulfilling, that feels so fucking good. And if you're listening to this, mama, and you're like, oh, my business doesn't feel easy, doesn't feel flowy, you've got to tune into, what is your highest fucking value? If your highest value is family, how do you create a business that literally has family as its blueprint? B, how do you fuck off tasks that are not in alignment, that you do not want to do, so that you can outsource them? You know, and it could be as simple as like another girlfriend came over, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and she's like, oh, my daughter's 16 and she's so looking for work at the moment. She can do running around tasks for you now, Nat. And I'm like, oh my God, great. I'm gonna utilize this beautiful babe in my field that's 16 years old and can go and do shit for me. Like, how cool. Like, I'm trying to think, how can you right now delegate tasks that you don't want to do? I own a VA agency. Grab a fucking VA. If you have like an online business and you're still running your email sequences and you're still creating your landing pages, then babe, what are you doing? Like, literally, my VAs can create a landing page for you so fucking easy. And offloading the tasks that don't feel good. for those of you who don't have cleaners, and you can have a cleaner, like, it is the best thing. My cleaner comes every single Monday. She does all of our washing. She resets our whole entire life. I'm actually getting her at the moment to get groceries on the way here, and so she can put them away, just so it's one less task I have to do. And it's just creating a system in your business and in your life that gives you more time, because my highest value is family, and I want to spend as much time with my family as I can, and present time too. Not like I'm with my baby but I'm working, or I'm with my baby and I'm running around doing things. Like, yes, of course, life's and you've got to do those things, but it's like, how can you merge those together? So the crumbling really taught me how to lead in a different way, which is fully leading, knowing that you can do both. You can be a mission-led mama and you can be a present mother. You can do both, because what I was finding, and it's funny, I've spoken to so many mums now that all say the same thing. Like, there's this huge guilt if you're not there for your child, but you also know that you have this yearning and this desire to fulfill a mission. And it's like, you can do both. You can do both. It just is figuring out a system that works. How can you do less and make more money? I know it's a very hot question, but how can you do less and make more money? What are the energetics to that? You know, if I think into the energetics of this, it's like, I wanted to create a business that I didn't want to feel, oh, I don't want to do that. Like the voice note thing, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to create a business that felt really, really, really spacious, so that I could still do the things that I wanted to. And then just like, we just removed some things around. So we went from 13 team members down to 6. And, you know, I went from having a manager and a PA, and then I was like, I love you both, but I'm actually going to switch where we're putting our money. So the other thing that doesn't light me up doing is actually content. I know you might think I'm great at content, guys, but it's one of those things that I don't love planning and love putting together. So I was like, the money that I had having a manager and having a PA, I'm actually going to put into having a full-time content creator. And so she rocks up to my house. She plans my content. We talk about it. We film it. She cuts it, edits it, and then posts it. And it's so great. I write my own captions, and we collaborate together. But then again, it's one less thing I actually have to do, where in the past, even though I had a videographer, there was still a lot of planning that I had to do. And the difference now is that's another thing I don't have to do. So when I read another book called Sell Like Crazy by Sabi Subi, it's a fucking amazing book if you haven't read it. One of the tasks he gets you to do is write down every single task that you do in your business. And I will also say to the mamas, everything that you do in your family life. Like, I know how much you've got to forecast and plan shit for the family, and even food, and, you know, picking up and like dropping off, and just everything that you've got to do as a mother. Write down everything that you do as a business woman and as a mother, and then start to look at how can you outsource that. And if you're not outsourcing it right now, okay, can you outsource it in 3 months' time? Can you outsource it in 5 months' time? Putting the action step in now will actually give you the spaciousness in your body to be like, oh my God, I can drop more into my feminine. The more you drop into your feminine, genuinely, the more money you're going to make, because you're going to be able to receive more. And what I realized was, me holding all of these things with my last business, was there was still so, like, I was holding on to so much masculine structure, versus now with this new business and doing what I really want to do and what really lights me up, there is more feminine flow for me to actually be like, I can let go of where money's coming from. And it's so funny. I'm not even promoting my masterminds or anything. And I'm just literally closing beautiful humans into my containers every single week. And people are just messaging me, because I'm not even speaking about business anymore in my content. But what's happening is, because I'm fully in alignment with these new containers and I'm fully in the flow of the feminine, people are just messaging me being like, hey Nat, can I pay you in full? I really want to come into your container. Hey Nat, I've seen your stuff. I really want to come into your container. Hey Nat, how do I be in your field? And I'm like, boom. This is so easy, because I've actually set up the energetics to be able to just receive now, which feels really great, because it means that I don't have to hustle. And so, my beautiful babes, the crumbling of that business and the crumbling of the maiden, there was so much grief that came along with it, like so much grief, because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I'm becoming. I didn't know I couldn't see the next sliver. I couldn't see the next steps. And I felt so much shame for letting go of my clients. I'm like, am I going to upset them? Are they going to hate me? Are they going to trash my name in the industry? Like, oh my God. And I felt so guilty. And there was just so many layers there that I had to release, because at the end of the day, motherhood made me more passionate, and motherhood called me forward at a deeper level. And so when I answered that calling to motherhood, everything became easier. And of course, there was so many challenges with Rory and I's relationship at that time, because he was like, this is our fucking bread and butter. This is our lifestyle. This is everything. And he was kind of like, we both agreed that I'd be a stay-at-home dad and you would go out and be the mission-led mama and make all the money. And now what the fuck? And I was like, it changes. It has to change. And so we went through this couple of week period of just consistently nagging and nattering and just at each other. And then what I've really realized is every time we're like that, we just need to have some good sex. And I mean just passionate fucking sex, right? And because being so conscious and having all these conversations, it's great. We have a date night check-in every week and we still have these conversations, but there was still this underlining resentment, even though we had spoken our truth. And then I was like, we just need to fucking make some juicy love right now. So grateful for that experience. That's another podcast where we actually both sat each other down to be like, I'm thinking about leaving right now. That's another podcast. And of course, then we grew so much deeper and more in love and all the things. So I hope you have gotten some value out of this. Mission-led mama right now, I'm talking directly to your soul. You can do both. There are going to be so many times in life where life and shit gets fucked up, and being a mother is so fucking hard, so fucking challenging. And I mean, I'm only a mother of a newborn baby and a baby in my belly, so I don't actually really know what it's like to have 2 kids or 3 kids or 4 kids or 5 kids or 7 kids. Anyone that has any children, any mama, I just honor you so much. And from the bottom of my heart, you are doing so well, mama. Keep going. You are doing so well. I know, that society pressure and being a good mother looks this way, and what Instagram fucking people tell you to do is for me, I can feel so overwhelmed in the weeds of what everyone else is doing as a mother. I'm like, should I be doing that? Fucking should I be doing this? Oh my God. And even stupid shit thinking about, should I be taking him to Montessori? Should I be doing that now? Oh, and then the fears coming up of what if I fuck up my kid? You're going to fuck up your kid. You're going to fuck up your kid. You're meant to. So Godwin, I meant to fuck you up in some way. Doesn't sit right with me still. But anyway, now I'm getting to the weeds of things. I love you. I hope this has been awesome. If you love this, please share this to another mama. Please go onto my Instagram. Follow me. I love you. Have a blessed day.